Hello. Today is March 28th, 2024. I am Jack O'Malley, and these are the Pirate Chronicles. You may notice a little different today. I am dressed up in my San Francisco gear because this is the subject of my broadcast. The reason I'm doing this is because I saw a post online by Thomas Hawk at Thomas Hawk on X, and he spoke about old San Francisco. And many of the things he mentioned resonated very deeply with me. I grew up in San Francisco after moving there from Chicago in 1971. By 1973, my parents took me to my first concert in San Francisco at Winterland. We saw the Doobie Brothers. They should have known better. Before that, I led a pretty clean Midwestern lifestyle. I believe, I was interested in the military and everything else. But my family was extremely liberal. And my father, an attorney, took a big case, and he had gone to Stanford. So next thing you know, we're moving to San Francisco. Doobie Brothers, the guy next to me, hey, dude, try this. And he handed it over to me, and that was let's just say it's the start of my downfall. But I'm doing okay now at 64. In the early days of San Francisco, it was idyllic. Idyllic. My father was an attorney in San Francisco. He would take me and my siblings out to different places in the city because being on California Street, he was right in the middle of the downtown. And so he would take us out, and we'd go to places like the Washington Square Bar and Grill, or Skoma's, or Harry's, or a lot of different places. Many of them, these old neighborhood places in North Beach, no longer exist. But it was clean. It was respectful. It was, let's just say, it was an ideal urban setting. Coming from Chicago, it was completely different. Chicago was a big industrial downtown. San Francisco was more of a city by the bay, with a definite Italian influence. So he would take us out, and we would go out to dinner, sporting events, tickets to go see the Giants, the 49ers, Joe Montana, my hero. Yes, that's his Hall of Fame football. 'Cause I was there when he threw a pass to Dwight Clark at a home game against the Dallas Cowboys, which resulted in the 49ers winning their first Super Bowl and going on to win several more. The city was vibrant. The city was electric. It was the music center of the world. After my Doobie Brothers incident, as I got a little bit older, I had a love for rock and roll music. So we ended up going to concerts. One scary part of it is many of the concerts were in Oakland, and in that time, um, downtown Oakland, let's just say in Hegerberger Road, it was a pit. It was the definition of ghetto. Um, but we didn't mind passing through there. We would park at the Coliseum and not worry about the surroundings. But it was a forebearer of things to come. So we went to the concerts. We were able to see Bill Graham Presents, and he ran all these concerts called Days on the Green. So we'd go see Peter Frampton, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, um, every just about every major band in the 70s and early 80s would come through San Francisco, and I was blessed to be at most of them. I also had a job. One of my first jobs was driving a shuttle service up back and forth to San Francisco with documents. So I drive downtown in the morning. I'd collect the documents or bring documents that I need processing, drop them off at shipping companies, banks, or lawyers, and then come back in the afternoon. So I was in San Francisco quite often. Back then, the only place you really had to worry about besides Hunters Point, which is where all the urban housing was in Candlestick Park, was what they call the South of Market area. It was mostly a warehouse district, but you would see the occasional trash and problems. There were other parts of the city, but mostly they were hookers and gay people standing out on the street looking for hookups, looking to make some money. Um, I was able my friends and I would go to San Francisco. We would knock on a door because we smelled bread baking, and there'd be a huge bakery right there in this building or bottom of a building on a side San Francisco street. And we'd buy for 75 cents a fresh loaf of sourdough bread. And that was just wonderful. Then years later, yep, that was me. Years later, I left San Francisco. I moved to Arizona because San Francisco was just getting too crowded. The whole Bay Area was just getting too crowded. This was the beginning of Silicon Valley, and things were exploding. People were investing in downtown San Francisco. Businesses were flooding in. Everyone wanted to be part of the computer industry. And San Jose was always more like a secondary market. Um, but San Francisco is where it's at. San Francisco changed. I realized this in must have been 96, when I was sent back from Arizona to California to attend a seminar. I came out of one of the nice, shiny hotels in San Francisco, just south of Market, and there was a big pile of human feces right there on the sidewalk. Nobody was cleaning it up. And just to walk to the taxi, you're more likely to step in it. I wanted to go get a coffee, but I couldn't get into Starbucks across the street because it was full of homeless people, um, and people not working, people just hanging out. Um, it wasn't a nice place to be. It was dirty. You didn't feel comfortable. And it was the first time I did not feel comfortable in San Francisco. Um, so I went back to Arizona. I started paying attention, especially when Phoenix, Arizona police chief George Gascon was hired by the city of San Francisco first to be their police chief. And he was a horrible police chief in Phoenix. It was just the beginning of the cartels taking over. And some of my close friends were police officers, and they did not like his policies, and he did not stand up for the officers. Um, how the people of San Francisco did not see this, I don't know. So they hired him. He was the police department. He wrecked the police department in San Francisco. Put in all these woke policies. So back then we weren't calling them woke policies. We called them stupid. Um, and then he became district attorney. Now, George Gascon was hired and promoted because of George Soros. George Soros, and I blogged about this years ago, George Soros was hiring district attorneys and placing them all over the country. He wasn't hiring them, he was financing them, giving them as much money as they need to win. So they would come in and take over and overwhelm their competition just from the amount of money they had. But they also made a deal with the devil, and that devil was George Soros. And this was to get more liberal, woke politicians in the system. So police chiefs, district attorneys, um, now governors, were all financed by George Soros. One of the first things they came out with was reduction of police. Um, they wanted to get rid of police officers, which doesn't make any sense because the police officers are the ones keeping the public safety. Um, so first they started getting rid of police. Then the district attorneys came in and said, "Oh, wait, we're arresting too many homeless people, too many poor people. So we're announcing a policy. We are not going to prosecute for any crimes under $2,000. So the laws of nature being what they are, behavior changed. So instead of going for banks or bank robberies or whatever, everyone realized that they could rob Walgreens, CVS, The Gap, um, any of the other big stores, as long as they didn't take over $2,000 worth of material. So what they did is they get in gangs of 50, 20, 50, 100 people, and each one of them would try to find $2,000 worth of stuff, even sitting there to calculate it. So they'd be under 2,000. It's got to the point where the people in the stores don't even fight back. They don't even call the police. They just let these people take all their stuff and go. Um, they also relaxed drug crimes and they weren't prosecuting for drug possession. This was horrible. The combination of the two, the crime, the drugs, was a bad mix. So all the criminals then would go sell their stuff and then go buy drugs and then live on the sidewalk where they'd poop and piss and sleep. And it's only gotten worse. Now, just in the last few years, businesses are leaving San Francisco in droves. The Gap, Walgreens, they can't afford to stay open. Hotels in Union Square, one of the most prestigious addresses in downtown San Francisco, the nicest hotels are empty now. People are not going to go pay $500 to $1,000 a night to stay and step in human poop as they walk out the door or walk out around the block. So things have to change. We're coming into a very difficult time in world history. Things are going to change. I believe people are going to be prosecuted, but it's up to the people of California to get rid of Gavin Newsom. Look at Steve Garvey. Right now they're actually still counting the election because they did not want Steve Garvey to get more votes and a Republican to be at the top of the ticket. So they're whittling away, finding thousands of votes at a time. So Garvey is not the winner. But he will be on the fall ballot. Trust me on that. But you need to start electing school board members, joining school boards, join community organizations, be vocal. Join the school board in San Francisco. Go to city council meetings. You need to do something. The best you can do, though, is hire law and order government. You need to stop the drugs. You need to stop the homeless. You need to stop the thefts. If you don't, San Francisco is going to look like Detroit, um, which, if you've seen it, once the criminals took over, another very liberal governor, downtown Detroit and the communities around it have been decimated. They're mansions that used to be beautiful in a great neighborhood that are now crack houses. This is happening in San Francisco. The hotels are going away. The people are going away. The companies are going away. Not just retailers. People like Facebook, they moved to Burlingame. X, LinkedIn, Salesforce. They all have employees that don't want to work in San Francisco anymore. So they have empty office spaces. And when you have empty office spaces, you lose the retail that support the office spaces. The sandwich shop, the mom and pop places are gone. They're leaving. Go try to find a good burger in downtown San Francisco. The community is being torn apart. What once was a very friendly city, I say rivaling Paris or anywhere else in the world, has now become a drug den, a criminal hotbed, a woke society where they don't want police, they don't want law and order. The government encourage crime by telling them they're not going to arrest them. And you know what happens when they say you're not going to arrest you for something, you're gonna do it. If there was no speed limit, I'd probably be going 100 miles per hour if I could. The same thing goes on with crime. But I'm begging you to please do something. San Francisco is worth saving. It's the evil people that have taken over. The Pelosi's of the world, the Gascons of the world. Gascon's now in Los Angeles, which has their own problems, similar to San Francisco, but Los Angeles is so big, it doesn't stand out as much. San Francisco is a much smaller city, and it becomes much more obvious. The citizens, for some reason, don't understand that it's their government that are causing these problems, yet they keep electing the same people over and over and over again. They've rigged the voting system, so it's ranked choice. So it's amazing that Steve Garvey is going to get on the final ballot, even though he won a primary election. As a Republican, he is not being ranked against Republicans. Same thing goes on with senators and House members. It's a screwed up system. It's rigged. It's financed by criminals. And when they sell their souls, the politicians of San Francisco sell their souls to the George Soros of the world, and literally to George Soros. Yes, they become millionaires, but they're selling your hopes, your dreams. They are trying to do this in other cities. Just be aware. San Francisco is going down the drain. It may not be able to be saved. If not, the best thing that could happen to it would be a massive earthquake. Bulldoze it and start over. That's sad to say, but that's urban renewal. At the same time, they need to be wary of terrorist attacks. They have to be They don't have to worry about climate change because in 100 years, the water hasn't gone up in San Francisco Bay. Go figure. Um, it's a beautiful area. It's got so much potential. It can once again become the gorgeous city by the bay where you will leave your heart there. But right now it's hell. Literal hell. I will not go there. My wife wants to go see a Warriors game, but I do not feel comfortable driving to San Francisco to go to a sporting event because of the danger in downtown. Okay? You go, your car can be broken into, you can be mugged, you can be killed. It's not worth it. So, people, please pay attention. This could be your city next. Um, you need to elect the right people. Do the right thing. Save your lives. Save California. And whatever you do, don't move to Nevada. Please. I'm in Reno. We don't want Californians here bringing your politics with you. If you want to come here and be independent, be conservative, have family values, believe in guns, God, and the Bible, then we'll consider letting you into Nevada. But don't bring your hate, your woke policies, or anything else. Go move to Seattle, move to Los Angeles, move to Chicago, move to Detroit, move to New York. There is no place for woke politicians in the United States. They don't follow the Constitution. They've been told not to follow the Constitution, and they don't care. And in addition to the district attorneys, they've been buying judges. And over the years, placing judges that do what they're told. They ignore the Constitution. Please be aware. If you like this, please share it. And I appreciate your listening to me. I'm Jack O'Malley. These are the Pirate Chronicles. Good day.